Okay, welcome to the After Chat, and it is my pleasure right now to have as my guest the 2018 After Chat Wrestler of the Year for many reasons. Also, the man who's, I always say, leading the charge to bring professional wrestling back in, and on October 2nd in Washington, D.C., he's going to be bringing Blood and Guts to the TNT network, right, Cody?
I don't know. I think I said something to that nature for sure. I was taken back at the initial Blood and Guts comment. I'm so excited that wrestling is going to be on TNT. I mean, it's been 18 years, and
Yeah.
to have a partner like that, and they've changed so much. The Warner Media Group's changed so much in terms of their infrastructure, and wrestling has changed so much. So it'll be cool to kind of catch back up. Where is everything now?
Yeah. So, and as you know, I'm a an old school fan. But on one hand, we're talking about Blood and Guts, and then on the other hand, you've written an incredible children's book. I read it. I have that copy there. The Elite Team, Cody, Heart of the Mountain. So, the Cody fans, the millions and millions of Cody fans out there, don't know about this talent that you have. How did this start?
One of the Elite series with Trism Books. Trism Books, they first, they picked up with Matt and Nick and the Young Bucks, and they wanted to do a children's book. They both have, two kids each, and they know that market and the type of books they read to their own kids and the messages that they want them to have. And they just, I was next in line in terms of, I think the Elite series is very much, it's not just a catchy thing to put on the cover of this wonderful book. It's more of an entire series. You'll probably see one coming up from another Elite team member soon. It was easy for me to do this. I don't have any children myself, and the Tristan books sent me a lot of books to read.
Well, you've got Pharaoh.
I got Pharaoh.
Right.
He's Earth.
Okay.
He's Earth book.
Okay.
I mean, if you read Heart of the Mountain, the wolves they're heavily influenced by Pharaoh, who's just hanging out right next to me. But yeah, this is a story that my dad told me. He was, as you know, you knew him very well.
Yeah.
He was known for a bit of hyperbole and exaggeration, and nothing is more wonderful to a child to hear those stories. And I took his story and added my friends to it, added a few twists and turns, and juxtaposed the bears versus the wolves, and don't want to spoil it all, but it's got a great message, and it was really special to be able to kind of amplify this story I'd heard as a kid.
So when you were a kid, and your dad and I were very close, and you just mentioned that, and he always used to tell me these great tales. I never knew whether to believe them or not, but they were all wonderful. They really were. Yeah, if you will. But when you were growing up, beside listening to his tales, what kid things were you into that kind of shaped your childhood, that made you eventually want to tell stories and write this as well?
I was as a product of my generation. I was so different from what I think. My brother was into the outdoors, hunting and fishing, and he was really more of Dusty's son in that regard, whereas I had this, infatuation with gaming. I was just I wanted every system, every piece of hardware, every peripheral accessory, every piece of software. I was obsessed, and then I got into comic books shortly thereafter. So I was just engrossed in the fantasy world, and it wasn't something that I could tell my dad wasn't. It's all good, buddy.
So you said that your father really didn't get into all the stuff. You never really told him about all that stuff that you were into.
Yeah, it was just something that he it wasn't his wheelhouse, being a Texas, outdoorsman type, football fan, sports fan, diehard baseball guy. All my things I was interested in didn't really check those boxes, but he, like great dads do, he pretended, and then even got into it a little bit himself.
Yeah, yeah. Where can people? Obviously, Amazon, but where else? Are you doing a book tour? I know you've been doing some book signings. Where can people come and
Yeah,
find you to do this?
yeah. The book is on Amazon, and if you check out anything with Trism Books, you'll see it. But we are doing more. We've done a few Barnes and Nobles and Dave and Buster's, and I'll be at the 1 Hour Tea store Thursday before All Out, and we'll have the book there as well. So the book's popping up in a lot of places, and it's real easy to get. But the Amazon's probably the best way.
Okay, and if you could give people with kids the reason to buy this book, what would that be?
Well, I think it speaks to kids in terms of, especially when you have a group of friends like we all did and all still do, and every one of your friends has something that they offer to the group that's perhaps different. The book is lighthearted and fun, but it's also a nice message of diversity and inclusion. We're talking about the wolves and the bears,
Yeah.
and how we can all get along. And in 2019, heading into 2020, I think that's probably one of the most important messages we can tell kids and adults alike, is that we're all in this together and we all should be getting along.
Tell us about the illustrator. I'm assuming from looking at his bio that he's British.
Dylan?
Dylan, yeah.
Dylan is he's outstanding, outstanding, and I think he's gonna take the full ride in
Yeah.
terms of the Elite series itself. Getting him was a big get for us when we first started putting together Heart of the Mountain, and I hope he stays on board for all the Elite books and the future
Yeah,
Elite
he's
series
great.
stuff that
He's
happens.
great. These illustrations, great. The reason I asked you if he's from the United Kingdom is in his bio. It says indelibly Colored, colored, as they would say over in the United Kingdom.
Across the pond, huh?
Yes, 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 yes. But these,
In your inquisitive nature, you have now. I also am asking myself, is he from the UK? I just knew he was a hell of an illustrator. Now I got to find out myself.
by the way, you know what I'd love to see? Because you're old school wrestling, so let's talk old school books. I would love to see a version of this.
Sure.
I collect everything 3D. Everything 3D. I would love to see uh, this or something in this series with the blue and red 3D glasses. These
Ooh,
illustrations just scream out for that. They really do.
ooh.
So
I think.
investigate that because there's a even if it's in a comic book form, these illustrations are so popping out without the glasses. Can you imagine what they would look like in 3D?
I think that's a pretty unique vision, and if that goes forward, you should probably get yourself a little royalty
Well,
on that.
I'll take you up
So
on that. I'll take you up on
yeah, I mean,
that.
you said it here and now. I know that there is somewhere in the series, you could probably guess which one of the Elite. There's somebody who talked about doing something a little bit more science fiction-y, and that's right up that alley,
Yeah,
especially kind of the retro outlook we have on the 3D, the classic glasses and such. That'd be pretty special.
I think
Don't let
that.
that idea slip through your fingers.
No, I won't because I collect everything 3D. I have old movies. I have old Superman comics with 3D. So now we have to
Love it.
talk about with your fantasy stuff that you love, and this is a bummer. This is the last season of Arrow.
Oh, and what an ending though, in terms of the Berlanti verse, the Arrowverse, what they're planning for Crisis on Infinite Earths with the big crossover. Gosh, Greg Berlanti and Stephen Amell just put something so magical together. They really did. To have Legends, to have Flash, Supergirl.
Yeah,
It's
I'm a
just
huge fan of all of that. All of that.
they've just done a great job. And I'm Stephen. Yeah, he's a wrestler at this point. That's what we say. He's had a few matches and earned the respect of a rather critical fan base, the wrestling one. I'm glad I get to see him go out on such a high note. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Might we see him um, somewhere else in AEW? Somewhere
You
down the
know,
line?
I was talking about this at the TCA appearances and press that we did, and I get the impression that his lovely wife is not super excited about him mixing it up in the ring again. And I gotta say, I fully understand that, but I think he'd always be safe in terms of doing something with his elite brethren, if that
Yeah,
makes any
yeah,
sense. I
yeah.
think there's definitely one more in the tank for Steven when it comes to wrestling, and I'm not gonna let him wrestle anywhere else. He's kind of involved, and he's in the
Oh
fabric
yeah, he's
of
part of he's
this
part of the
whole.
family. Sure,
Damn right.
sure.
There you go.
That question, by the way, when I asked my son Brandon before I spoke with you, I said anything you can think of that you'd like me to ask Cody, and he and I are huge Arrow fans, and he said, well, ask him about Stephen Amell, and when I and about Arrow, but when I met him backstage that on that first show he was in, he's much bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah, and that's kind of the. I don't know if it was a bummer, but it was kind of the first time I walked on the Arrow set, was kind of tickled by the fact that the DC, the Berlanti verse and the Arrowverse is pretty much a lot of big and athletic individuals. So you think, oh, I'm the wrestler showing up. I'm going to tower over these superheroes and these rogue villains, but no, not at all.
Yeah, 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 big guy. Before I let you go, of course, let's talk about Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
What is going on? Is there something happening?
This thing called All Out. Are you going to be there?
I think I'll be there. I'll be
Yeah.
there. It sounds like I'm going to be there for the whole week because I'll be there Thursday at the 1 Hour Tea storefront. I'll be at Starcast Thursday evening. I'll be at the show Saturday at the Sears Center, the place where it all began, and
Sure.
finish up at Starcast again on Sunday. I'm just happy that it's become another destination. I definitely, when you're doing what we're doing, sometimes you feel like the world is not enough. But if All In was the only thing that ever happened out of all of this, that was a really successful and it meant the world. And that weekend was the most special part of it all. The fact that we get to go do it again, and it sounds like maybe we'll be able to do it again and again and again. That speaks to the fan base and this hunger that's existed and it's been underneath the surface, and it finally burst through. And All Out is the perfect jumping on point for all of the wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course you're going to Washington D.C. October 2nd. I mean and it's sold out very quickly, and that's a very classic wrestling building as well, and the world is waiting to see what this brand new exciting TV product is going to look like.
Yeah, I think it's selling out. It was an honest shock to me. I thought it would do well, but we were so focused on the content of the show itself, and Washington D.C., the nation's capital, and it's just serendipity, man, and it keeps happening. And the only way it's going to keep happening after the fact is if we keep putting out the best bell-to-bell matches
Yeah.
that we can. People may tune in and expect something different as far as AEW is concerned, and expect that alternative, and they'll get that. But they'll also get something they've been familiar with a long time, and that is bell to bell pro wrestling at its best because of the roster we have, and that's the best thing we can give them. There's 100 hooks and gimmicks, and all of that in this world of sports entertainment and show business, but the stories that you can tell in a ring, they're the most sophisticated stories on earth if you want them to be, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this. And if you're there live, of course, it'll be in 3D.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
right. You don't
That's
need
right.
those glasses. But
Not
you
at
can
all.
wear them anyway.
Where can people follow you and the company on social media, Cody?
Oh, it's easy. Me, I'm at Cody Rhodes on Twitter, at American Nightmare Cody on Instagram, and you can follow at All Elite Wrestling. You can follow the new handle that our partners at TNT just got on Twitter at AEW on TNT. A lot of good stuff coming there. Probably a surprise match announcement down the line. So there's plenty of places to get your AEW fix.
All right. And you are on that card when it debuts on TNT.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
as of looking at it now, I'll probably be the very first match of the night.
Wow.
Which has a special, place in my mind, but also just thinking of it from a logistic and planning standpoint, it also makes it very easy for me to go sit down, put the headset on, and help Tony Khan and the other EVPs produce the rest of the show.
Okay. The final question, and you know I always have to come up with something different. If this was your dad and you were doing Dusty Rhodes' voice here, what would he say to you about what's happening on October 2nd?
Oh, I couldn't even fathom.
He'd be
I couldn't even fathom because I think a lot, Bill, about what I would tell him
yeah.
if I had to say, like, if I had a few minutes to say, like, hey, this is all this stuff that's happened since 2015. And I think it's so much, I don't even know if I'd be able to catch him up in any way or, any way. I know that he was a big fan of all things wrestling and not always the things that his generation were fans of. He had kind of an eye for the sizzle, well, kind of an eye. I mean, he had
Yeah.
a big eye for the
The
sizzle.
eye.
And I think this may be a rare time when Dusty would have been, dare I say, speechless over something that was
That's
going
great.
on.
That's great. And by the way, thanks for giving that kid Dustin Rhodes a break.
Oh, that young up and comer,
Yeah.
that greenhorn.
Yeah, he's going to go places.
He is. He's Benjamin Button, man. We're all getting older. He's getting younger. He's a special athlete.
All right. Thank you very much, Cody. It's great. And by the way, you didn't even ask me to do my Cookie Monster imitation today. I'm shocked.
I know
shocked.
because we got Mandy listening on the line.
Yeah,
I don't know. She might have been a harsh judge of your Cookie Monster voice. Sometimes you got to hear it in person,
Yeah, well, what we're going to have...
Bill, what do you think? What do you think Cookie Monster would say about all this?
Oh, I have to be there, and I hope you'll have cookies there as well.
There you go, man.
There you go.
There
All
you
right.
go.
All right, Cody, it's an absolute pleasure, and I just can't wait for this explosion to happen on not just Labor Day weekend, but on October 2nd in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., if you will.
Thank you. As we were wrapping up, I sat down in my office and I'm looking at my plaque from the after chat.
Thank you.
At this very moment. So
Thank you.
I can't wait to. Hopefully, I can earn another plaque.
That'd be great. Cody Rhodes with Bill Apter here